Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Warmly welcome to all of you with another important video. It's a video series related to Saudi Aramco third party worker saver training, and there are three books, and we started with the first book has a recognition, and today is the third lesson number third, for this particular book. And today our topic is list the methods to recognize and control hazards as per Saudi Aramco guidelines. And I'm sure this video series will be very much beneficial, especially for the freshers who are wishing to work and join Saudi Aramco, through the contracting pool of Saudi Aramco. And yes, nobody can work as a WPR until you achieve third-party training and certification. Along with you have to pass Aramco direct exam as a WPR. And once you have Aramco approval, of course, the contractors will start hiring you, inshallah, for different projects, hourly based, or might be you can join them on a monthly salary basis. Choice is yours. But yes, the recognition you required, the brand image you need to build as a WPR, and that is why this series of videos will be very much beneficial, inshallah, for the people who are interested to work for Saudi Aramco. So today is lesson number 3 of book number 1, and module is 1.2. And our key objective that we'll be discussing, inshallah, the methods to recognize and control hazards as per Saudi Aramco guidelines. And of course, Saudi Aramco have shared with us their 80 plus years experience brilliantly by developing, different kind of best learning methods for us. And I'm sure through these video series, you are going to learn a lot. And since we all know hazards are everywhere, we definitely cause incidents. And that is why, it's really important to learn how we can control the hazards, what precautions are important, but we can't jump into conclusions like implementing controls and precautions until we have a clear understanding how to recognize, how to identify the hazards. And that is why Saudi Aramco encourages, to uh, that everybody, even whoever is at their project site within their territory, must be responsible and must be familiar and aware how to recognize hazards. Because failing to recognize and control hazards can cause serious injury and even death. That's where Aramco is very much uh, sensitive, that they don't want to compromise on quality, they don't want to compromise on safety, even their credibility, because they are a global brand, one of the richest company in the world in oil and gas industry. And that is the reason they want all of us, direct or indirect employees, contractors, subcontractors, all stakeholders, they want them to be fully familiar about the hazards recognition, especially in oil and gas industry. So that's why they have guided us, few of the methods and in this module, of course, we'll be talking about common causes of incidents, safety hazards, health hazards, how we recognize and control those hazards, and most importantly, what are the control measures actually as per the guideline of Saudi Aramco. So, how to recognize and control hazards? Uh, yes, we have to understand the categories of hazards and also recognizing the hazards and controlling the hazards. I have just pasted one picture here. Might be it is not very much visible to all of you, but of course it can give you some insights. And if you are the hazard recognizer or you are the WPR and along with the WPI of Saudi Aramco, you both guys are responsible to identify the hazards. So what do you think in this picture? What kind of hazards are there? You take your time and you can put some comments or at least, I'm sure you would have some understanding like oil spillage is there. The goggles are there, but she is not wearing. No smoking sign is there, but the gentleman is smoking. Fire exit door is shouldn't be obstructed, but it's blocked, unfortunately. The lifting mechanism, the manual handling, is not good enough. Even the hard hat area, the employee is not using the hard hat. So that means quite easily, if we can map and make a kind of a picture in our mind of each of our area, project area, or wherever we are working as a WPR for any certain project, we have to divide, we have to, I would say, chop up the elephant actually. And like make the portions of each area and then identify what kind of hazards are there related to safety or health or any sort of unsafe acts or conditions are there, all we can easily identify. And then we can talk about the controlling hazards. But controlling hazard, of course, the effectiveness is everything. And effectiveness, of course, will start applying engineering controls, as per Aramco theories. And under engineering, of course, some other steps are there which we gonna discuss in next slides: administrative and work practice controls, and also PPs and RP. So that means PPs and RPs come at the last, but before that, we truly need to implement engineering and administrative controls. Now, Saudi Aramco have shared with us, the common causes of incidents, and one of the uh, major common causes failure to follow rules and procedures. That's one of the biggest cause of accidents or incidents in Saudi Aramco. That's what they believe actually, and of course, it's true. It's 100% true. If you will not follow safety rules and regulations or procedures or policies, of course, the probability of incidents or accidents will go up. So, the second common causes of incidents they mentioned is hazards not recognized or controlled. Equipment is not properly isolated, powered or depressurized. That means proper lockout, tagout, and isolation is not there. Or sometimes it is done, but not validated, or because somebody have to be fully competent to verify that the isolation and load is done perfectly, and there isn't any chance of a depressurization or de-energization of any part of the energy, and that energy could be mechanical, electrical, gravity, motion, pressure, spring loaded, different kind of. So that's why Ramco have guided us, the different categories of hazards for our better understanding, and of course they guide us the controlling mechanism also. And one of the cause they also mentioned gas testing not performed or monitored, because sometimes it's just tick tick tick, sometimes it's not being done effectively, sometimes the gas monitor is not calibrated properly, not validated, and sometimes overconfidence of the authorized gas tester, because what he believes is nothing has happened in this area, and several projects we have done within the same area. So why we need to do the gas testing, especially if it is confined space? So no effective joint site inspection. So JSIs are there, but not effective. So effectiveness is everything, guys. So improper responses when conditions change, improper responses when conditions change, because sometimes there are sudden changes like sudden sandstorms, sudden heavy rains, flooding, excavation collapse, sudden kind of fire incident, and there isn't any proper response plan in hand, how to. And sometimes the emergency response plan is effectively developed, but unfortunately not practiced, or because practice makes a man perfect, right? Like if you have practiced how to rescue somebody from confined space, which is one of the difficult tasks, I would say, because 60% fatalities are happening in confined space, and it's all belong to the emergency responders, the rescuers. Like the rescuers are dying there just because of not having proper practical skill set. And that is the reason, like recently we launched Jana Training Center in Saudi Arabia. And with that aim, that we will never ever accept even client's request, any training which required practical. If client doesn't have a certain kind of equipment, we will motivate them to invest, buy the equipment, then we'll come to your site. Like if they need, let's take an example of SCABA training. So SCABA must be available on site at the client, rather than we are taking our own. Of course, for training perspective, we'll definitely take it. But if it's something like, we need tripod or some mechanism for a rescue somebody from the confined space, so we need that mechanism from the all equipment from the client side, right? Otherwise, no benefit of this training, right? Another example, we are giving firefighting training, but no extinguishers are available at the client side. So how come, we can give them proper, or the fire hoses are not there? I hope you got the point. So any like same case, if we are giving AED training, for basic life support or CPR in other words, but that AED device is not available at client side. So what's the benefit, right? So that's why we started encouraging, and there is a very clear vision in our Jana Training Center through, and it's a vision of Best International also, that will not encourage any training without proper practical, skill set and scenario-based learning through creating a better response mechanism, And yes, humans are involved, and we all know human error is there, negligence is there. They love to take shortcuts, plenty of, So dealing with the human brains is one of the most difficult challenge, I would say, in this world, right? So, but anyhow, these are the common causes of incidents mentioned by Saudi Aramco. So, two types of hazards normally mentioned by Saudi Aramco, that is safety hazards and health hazards. Under safety hazard, what they believe is electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure. I call them EGMMP, electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure. That means these are the categories of safety hazards. So, these five categories falls under safety hazards. Now, as an examiner, of course, he can create a question here. Electrical, chemical, mechanical, all are safety hazards. True or false? Question number one. Now, out of the below, which one is a safety hazard? Again, he's gonna mention radiation, some sort of chemical, uh, environmental, or noise and vibration, something like that. And along with that, he will mention gravity. So out of five, which belong to safety hazard category? So in that context, of course, logically, you need to remember that these five categories fall under safety hazard. And what is safety hazard? Anything which have adverse impact on our safety or on your safety, that's called safety hazard. And the examples categories are electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure hazards. Like under electrical, we can give some examples, could be power lines, transformers, static charge, lightning, energized equipment, wiring, and batteries even. And for gravity, it could be like crane lifting operations, excavation, falling objects, collapsing roof, or even body tripping or falling. And on the other side, if we take some examples of mechanical, might be we can give rotating shafts or belts, pulleys, saw blades. And if we give examples of motion, it could be like any equipment, or it could be vehicles or marine vessels or equipment movement, or even flowing water. The wind body positioning when lifting, straining, or bending. So all comes under motion. Uh, Hazard category, and motion falls under safety hazard category. Now, the pressure, again, we use a lot of compressed gas cylinders. There is a pressure piping available. We have a lot of control lines. It's oil and gas industry. We have vessels, tanks, and or mostly the vessels and tanks, we'll consider them the confined spaces also. So pneumatic and hydraulic equipment. That means if they are not properly depressurized, no proper, lockout, tagout, or isolation is done, or on the other side, blinding or disconnection is not applied. That's all we will discuss in book number 2, like confined space entry, and where we will be discussing, inshallah, a lot of effective controls related to confined space isolation or lockout, tagout. And of course, there is another book we all know, isolation, lockout, tagout, or hold tag. So it's a series of a great learning. If you'll be keep following all videos, I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of benefits. Now let's take an example of health hazards. And under health hazards, you see some symbols I pasted there. It could be biological, chemical, radiation, noise, and vibration and temperature. So these five categories falls under health hazards. Now, health hazard. What is health hazard? So anything that have adverse impact on your health would be considered a health hazard. like biological, biological. This COVID-19 was a biological, invisible enemy, sometimes I call it. That is why the whole world was in trouble, and because it was an invisible enemy, and how we gonna identify, how we gonna isolate and tackle it, and putting and using some engineering or administrative or PPs. Ultimately, we still, a lot of countries are there who are still taking a lot of measures, because they don't want to let their people to be affected with COVID-19, and still a lot of restrictions, a lot of protocols being followed. But that's not the case only. Like viruses, germs, and insects, bloodborne pathogens, or improperly handled foods, and contaminated water, even all falls under biological hazards. Now, the chemical. What example we can give for the chemical? First of all, the chemical could be in shape of dust, like if you are doing sandblasting or abrasive blasting, or you are doing some sort of cutting on the concrete, and there is a silica or some other toxic dust. Of course, you can consider it kind of a chemical. So what I mean is the chemical can be in shape of solid, liquid, or even in shape of gas also. So dust, fumes, gases, mist, vapors, liquids, hydrocarbons, solvents, lead. That's all are good example of chemical hazards. And to be very honest, as a WPR, as a safety professional leader, make sure your people are not addicted with chemicals. Like, in one of the company, I noted the people were addicted with ink, retarded thinner, all sort of smells they were addicted to. And it was really hard for them to wear even the disposable mask or NIOSH approved respirators, because they are addicted with that chemical smell. So make sure you're, and same way, if somebody is addicted with chain smoking, nowadays we are very much addicted with screen, screen addiction. That's another fatal one. Even though the short-term health hazards are there, and even long-term are, because it's radiation. So that's why one of the category is radiation, and radiation mean lighting issues, welding arcs, solar rays, microwaves, lasers, X-rays, norm like naturally occurring radioactive material. We call it, you know, that's why in the hospitals, why they keep us away from X-rays, even for the high-tech electrical systems and panels, why it is mentioned to us to stay away from, because there are radiations, right? And radiations we get even from the sunbeams, even from different processes like welding, you know. So that's why the controls we required. But the first thing is to learn to identify safety and health hazards. Then we have noise and vibration, and some of the examples are like equipment noise, impact noise, vibration, high pressure release, impact of noise on communication. We also have temperature like open flames, sparks, hot or cold surfaces, liquid, gases, stream, friction, general environment and weather conditions. So all falls under temperature hazard also. So these two categories like safety hazards and health hazards, and under safety, five subcategories are mentioned, and under health, again, five subcategories are there. So that means if somebody understood properly these 10 categories, he can easily be a better hazard recognizer, inshallah. Especially, this is one of the major responsibility of work permit receiver. So I hope you would have now clear idea, and Saudi Aramco have guided some of the, I can say some of the methods like joint set inspections. Even your permit wouldn't be signed up until you have conducted joint set inspection. And there is a work permit system and forms. I will share inshallah these forms later on, somewhere through lecture. Then hazard analysis checklist, that's also part of the permit. We have different types of permits like cold work permit, hot work permit, CSC, and EULB. We call it equipment opening line break. Now, for which activity and based on which criteria, what type of permit we need to use, that's all required a mutual teamwork between WPR, that means the work permit receiver, and Aramco guy, the work permit issuer. Then the both guys can definitely make sure the right set of permit system is being followed. Even the selection of work permit and the activities are well analyzed, and proponent department or PMT of Saudi Aramco, they have clear idea, where they have to implement what type of permit system actually. Now, why we need actually this permit, because of course we need to fulfill a permit all forms whenever there is some sort of activities like construction activities, maintenance, inspection, or repair. Because as a contractor, we are the one, sometimes providing construction services, sometimes maintenance projects are there, inspection projects are there, or sometimes repairing projects like shutdowns and a lot of processes also. Like you have one project only for excavation, and there is a company only they have a project for supplying of heavy equipment, and one of the company might be one project have 150 different contractors or different companies. So every company is bound to get a permit according to the nature of their activity, especially if that activity is being performed in restricted area and is high risk activity. Of course permit is mandatory. So that's why there is a section number 2, like in hazard recognition, like engineering, administrative control is there, construction, maintenance, inspection, repair. And in the permit form, fill section 2 of permit form and hazard analysis checklist is important one. Now, once you observed and identified all the hazards, now it's time to put some control measures. And the control measures, as per Aramco guidelines, they are the steps actually going to be taken to remove or reduce hazards by engineering, like either you eliminate or isolate, or administrative means you have to reduce or bring it to acceptable level or rotate crew, play with some timings, and also they made some rules, warning letter, warning signs, posters, uh, different mechanism in shape of documentation also. So all comes under administrative. Now protective equipment, personal protective equipment, or RP, respiratory protective equipment. Like any toxic environment is there, you need to use SCABA or sometimes we call it SABA, supplied air breathing apparatus. And we, if for our rescue kit, EBA is there, emergency escape breathing apparatus. And in mining or in different industries, we are using advanced breathing system also, because with some communication mechanism, so people can go inside and we can still communicate. Lighting is well provided, and also a detail. And this why we need SCABA, why where we need SABA, and why advanced breathing system, all required as per the size or as per the nature of the project. So guys, in short, in this module, we have learned so far the common causes of incidents, safety hazards, like, 5 categories of safety hazards, and under health hazards, we learned 5 categories under health hazards. Just for your revision, I can give example under safety hazards. We have electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure. Examples can be so many. Same way, health hazards, we have biological, chemical, radiation, noise, and vibration, and temperature. Again, examples can be many, right? It is all up to you how much you are going to learn. Otherwise, in the third module, like common workplace hazards, Aramco have identified several areas, and they have like heavy equipment, like excavation process separately, H2S, confined spaces. What are the hazards and controls and precautions we need to implement? So, and also we discuss recognize and control hazards like engineering control, administrative and PP and RP, and what are those control measures. So we have, I'm sure guys, this video would be really beneficial for all of you. And if there is any question, any sort of confusion, please WhatsApp me. Uh, but make sure maintain your learning passion, because yes, we have to be a great learner, the consistent, passionate learner. And that is why this daily learning club in shape of trainings on YouTube channel is initiated. And I'm sure it would be very much beneficial. And so far, our channel is being watched in more than 20 plus countries, Western countries, even Asian and Middle East countries. And I'm very much thankful to everybody whoever is commenting, motivating positively, giving some suggestions, because no one is perfect, and I never thought that I'll be delivering, such lectures on YouTube or even online trainings. I would not used to. So, but I'm trying my level best in a very simple way. I don't have any video editor with me to edit the videos and make them, very much comprehensive, beautiful. What is the agenda is to sharing the knowledge, experience, and whatever I have learned so far, because sharing is caring. And same, I'm motivating you. You are learning today, and whatever you are learning, please share with others. It's one of the noblest job, I'm telling you. It's not just a money making profession. Like you are a WPR in future, inshallah. You'll be the lifesaver because you are the knowledgeable person. You are practically sound. Your concepts are clear. You know how to recognize the hazards. You can keep your people safe. You know what type of PPs are important, what control measures you can suggest and recommend, for project to project, wherever you will be performing your job as a Saudi Aramco approved work permit receiver, and very soon in future, inshallah. Thank you very much. And our next, inshallah, 1.3 module, uh, we will, as a lesson number 4, we will, I'll try my level best, to make it on a daily basis. Otherwise, whenever convenient time I will get, I'll surely create a video and share with all of you. Thank you very much. And please take care of your channel. It's your YouTube channel. Share, like, subscribe. Any opinions, suggestions are warmly welcome. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.